The only thing worse than the California wildfires is the Fayetteville wildfire. The Arkansas Razorbacks are in the middle of a John Calipari wildfire. After last week, they lost a game, and he said, "Oh, well, the guys didn't have a shoot around before." Oh, and in my gut, I knew that they should have shot around. Dang. It's like, yeah, every basketball team's going to have a shoot around before the game. Why would you not let your guys have a shoot around? Arkansas fans, I'm giving you advice from a Kentucky fan. That man has lost his marbles. You have to listen to the things he says, not the way he says it. He is a professional at delivering a message with the utmost confidence, but the things he says doesn't make sense. Calipari's literally getting old, and he probably has some sort of dementia. The things that he says does not make sense, and so I will warn you, Arkansas fans. Pay attention to what John Calipari says, not how he says it. FS1 announced months and months ago that they were canceling Skip Bayless's show, and that makes me think that they've known about this lawsuit for a long, long time. Undisputed never dropped in ratings. Skip Bayless is a figure that everybody knows, and that was their biggest show on FS1. So why would they just drop the show and cancel it out of the blue or announce that it's going to be ending? That makes me think that they've known about the things that Skip Bayless has been doing and his skeletons in the closet for a long time, and that there's going to be a lot more skeletons falling out of that closet as time goes on. This lawsuit's going to be just the very first one against Skip Bayless. You're going to see more and more and more come because right now FS1's trying to cover up the tracks for Skip, but once they're done and they cancel his show, they're going to have no reason to fight for him anymore. Kentucky fans, when do we get rid of Mark Pope? Just being honest, Mark Pope is not the coach that we wanted as Kentucky basketball fans. He's the coach that we were given. Who we wanted was Billy Donovan or Dan Hurley from UConn or Nate Oates from Alabama. Those are the coaches that we wanted. And somehow or another, we ended up with Mark Pope, which was fine in the preseason when we were winning games. But now let's be realistic. Let's look in the mirror and let's just be honest. We don't have the coach that we deserve as Kentucky basketball fans. So, how quickly and what would have to happen for us to get him out of town? Mark Pope should be the assistant coach on this ball team with Dan Hurley as the head coach. And now that UConn's not that good, I think that Dan Hurley would consider a move to Kentucky after this year. So, Kentucky fans, I ask you, how long would Mark Pope have to be at Kentucky before we're ready to get rid of him and actually get a coach that's ready for this position? I think that FS1 has known about this lawsuit for going to be the type of character our best guy is. For home state, we are going to be in trouble. The same team that started out the Kentucky basketball, our team this year just isn't good. Just to be honest, we don't have a player who we can look at and say, hey, that's our guy. Everything that our team scores off of is a set play, and that only works if we have momentum and teams haven't figured out our sets. Once a team figures out our sets or they just have momentum and we need a bucket right now, we don't have that guy on our team. We don't even have close to that guy on our team who can just go get us a bucket. That's the problem with the Kentucky Wildcats. Next year, we have two recruits who are good, who are 5 stars. Both of them are from Kentucky. Is Mark Pope incapable of recruiting outside of the state? Because if so, that's going to be a big, big problem. Kentucky high school basketball is not known for being good. So if we can't get guys from Texas, the DMV, New York, like we always do, then we're going to say goodbye to good Kentucky basketball for a very long time. Ford declared for the draft for what reason? That kid is not an NFL quarterback by any stretch of the imagination. The only reason that he's popular is because they'll put him on Twitter after the games of him dancing and doing all this stuff. But the Kyle McCord swag meme is over with. I don't know what NFL scout told him, hey, you're actually a little bit of a higher draft stock than you thought you were, so you should come out. That wasn't smart. Kyle McCord should have gone back to college and demanded as much money as he could have from whichever university was foolish enough to take him. But anybody who's watched Syracuse play a college football game this year knows for a fact The Kyle McCord isn't an NFL quarterback. Why would they convince that young man of that? Kyle McCord, go back to school. Ohio State fans were calling for Ryan Day's job earlier this year, and now it looks like Ohio State's going to win the national championship. So my question is, what does Ryan Day have to do to get cemented in Ohio State lore for all time and to get a statue built out of Columbus? And also, on the flip side of that coin, what does Ryan Day have to do to get fired from Ohio State? If he continues to not be able to beat Michigan, but he has success in the playoffs, is that good enough? And vice versa. If Ryan Day starts to beat Michigan, but loses his juice and Ohio State can't get far in the playoffs, is that going to get him out of here? Seems like right now Ohio State's going to stick by Ryan Day no matter what. So I'm curious, genuinely. How long is he going to be the head coach at Ohio State? And is he going to get a statue in Columbus?